Thank you for outlining all the issues with the NHS. I guess this is why you're balloting NHS workers to strike.
Yeah, well, just a little bit of history on the actual balloting that we've done. The last pay round finished last April, and that was a 3-year pay deal. The pay deal was basically a 3-year deal, as I said, and it basically meant that you got a little bit of money, but the trouble was, is that, excuse me, the pay deal was part of a situation where every year you work for the trust, you actually got a slight increment rise because of basically experience. They have now spread that out, so it's now about 2 or 3 years before you got another pay rise, apart from the couple of percent they gave you initially.
Yeah.
So we actually, GMB looked at it, and basically we decided it wasn't acceptable at all to our members. We were actually the only union in the NHS unions, and as I said, I think there's about 14 of them who actually who actually rejected that offer from the government. Unfortunately, all the other unions actually thought that it was a good idea, and they actually accepted it, and basically we were outvoted. A lot of them now, of course, realise that they were wrong and we were right, which is what we thought we would be. And as such, we are now looking about this new pay rise. Now, just to say that what's happened is that all the unions and other people involved in the NHS put a submission to the pay review body, which they normally do for about January. So this would be last January, January 2020. The government is supposed to then take all that information and have a look at it, decide what's available, what they can afford apparently, and then come back to the actual unions and everybody else in the NHS by April. So this is last April.
Yeah.
And then come back with an offer, and then it would either be accepted or not accepted. What the actual government did was they said that although we got all the information in on time, we can't make a decision because of COVID.
Yeah.
And they fobbed it off. They left it April, May, June, July, August. I think it was the end of August, just about the bank holiday. They actually came out and said that we can offer you 3%.
Yeah.
Now, bearing in mind what we had before, and as there have been about 10 years of low pay rises for the NHS, we've had 3-year pay freeze, we've had about 2 or 3 years of 1%, and we had the last 3-year pay deal that we just talked about. That roughly comes up to about 10 years. So this 15% we talk about, it's not actually a pay rise, it is actually a pay correction.
Yeah.
It is bringing us back, bearing in mind that the average inflation for those last 10 years has been about 3.5%, 4%. In fact, I think at the moment the government is saying independently that the inflation is nearly 5%.
Yeah.
And Lord knows what it's going to be next January, February time, when you consider that gas is going up, electricity is going up, all the costs of everything are going up.
Yeah.
Partly down to us leaving Europe, but mainly because of the fact that obviously a lot of people have left to go back home from, because obviously we've left Europe.
Yeah.
But the other thing is because of cost and generally. They're, for example, talking about the gas and energy prices. They have a cap apparently, which affects everybody, because apart from, with all due respect to people who are sleeping on the street, everybody else has to consume some type of heat, you know, to keep warm, and obviously they do on the streets of Hove and Brighton Hove. But the point is though, that they're talking about, they have this cap. Well, that cap they reckon is going to raise by 40%. So, you know, everybody's bills are going to go up. And if they go up in your home, the chances are they're going to go up in your shops.
Yeah.
They're going to go up in all the sort of services you use. Council tax is another one that's coming along.
Yep.
So there was a lot of high price stuff that is coming along to this country.
Yeah.
Then people say, and the government say, we can't afford anything and we can't give out people a decent pay rise. I would point out, everybody in this country has been affected by COVID. And I totally get all that, and people have died, and it's very sad that they have done. The point about it is, it's only in the NHS and the nursing homes where staff have died as well from COVID.
Yeah.
And that's because they've been directly connected and looking after people that have had COVID.
Yeah.
Now, COVID is not someone that just that is something which just affects only a few. You can be the most healthiest person around and you can die of COVID. You can also be the most unhealthy person around and die of COVID. It is not a situation where it chooses what it wants to do.
Yeah.
And so I just think it's only right and fair that if you're in a front line situation, for example, I'll just give me, although I wasn't necessarily in the front line in the hospital, I was described as a support service at the back, I still went to wards that had COVID people in them. I've been talking to people that have COVID and not had COVID. I've had to have all the PUP protection. And I mean, this means that, as I said, I put myself on the line. Yes, I've had all the jabs. I've had the flu jab because I'm 62, so I get that anyway over free. And although they're talking about putting up the prices of all the things for over 60s anyway, for pension, for the prescription services as well, just another point on there. But the thing is, though, I think it's only fair. You know, we are, I say not me, but people in the NHS are saving people's lives. And I'm afraid, you know, as I said, we've got a contemptible government here who do not care about the people that are caring for them. As far as they're concerned, if they need care in government, they can go and do it privately.